2023, a shopping app appeared that seemed impossible. Dresses for $3, Bluetooth headphones for $2, furniture for less than a fast food meal. The app was called Temu. Within 18 months, it became one of the most downloaded applications in the world. But behind those prices lies a system so efficient, so ruthlessly optimized, that it's rendering an entire class of businesses obsolete. This is the story of how global commerce changed overnight, and why the businesses you grew up with may not survive it. To understand Temu, you must first understand what it's replacing. For decades, the retail model worked like this. A manufacturer produces goods, sells them to a wholesaler, who sells to a retailer, who finally sells to you. Each layer adds cost. Each transaction requires margin. By the time a product reaches a store shelf, its price may be 4 or 5 times its production cost. Small businesses operate within this system. They purchase inventory. They rent storefronts. They employ staff. They compete on service, curation, and community connection. But they cannot compete on price alone. Temu operates differently. It functions as a direct bridge between Chinese manufacturers and Western consumers. There is no warehouse in the traditional sense, no bulk purchasing, no retail markup. When you order from Temu, the item is often packaged in the same factory where it was made. It ships directly from Guangzhou, Shenzhen, or Yiwu. Cities most consumers have never heard of, but which produce a staggering portion of the world's manufactured goods. This model is called cross-border e-commerce, and it eliminates nearly every cost that traditional retailers cannot avoid. But the pricing goes deeper than logistics. Temu is owned by PDD Holdings, the parent company of Pinduoduo, a Chinese platform with over 750 million users. PDD built its empire on a single principle: ruthless price optimization. It uses algorithms to constantly monitor competitor pricing, supplier costs, and consumer behavior. Merchants on the platform are pressured to reduce prices continuously. Those who do not are deprioritized by the algorithm. The result is a deflationary spiral. Prices drop not because of efficiency gains, but because the system demands it. For consumers, this feels like abundance. For small businesses, it's a countdown. Consider a small boutique that sells home goods. It sources products from wholesalers, marks them up to cover rent, wages, insurance, and a small profit margin. A decorative lamp might cost the store $12 wholesale. It sells for $35. That same lamp appears on Temu for $8, shipped to your door. The boutique cannot lower its price to $9. It would operate at a loss. Even if it tried to match Temu by sourcing directly from manufacturers, it lacks the volume, the logistics network, the platform infrastructure. This is not a matter of inefficiency. It is structural asymmetry. Temu benefits from economies of scale that small businesses will never access. It benefits from a supply chain designed for export volume, subsidized by regional policies and infrastructure. It benefits from minimal regulatory burden in its country of origin and exploits loopholes in international trade law. In the United States, the de minimis rule allows shipments valued under $800 to enter duty-free. Temu packages are nearly always under this threshold. Each order avoids tariffs. Each shipment bypasses the costs that domestic businesses absorb when they import inventory in bulk. Meanwhile, small retailers pay rent in expensive commercial districts. They pay local taxes. They comply with labor laws, product safety standards, and environmental regulations. These are not optional. They are the cost of operating within a developed economy. And yet they compete in the same marketplace as platforms that face none of these constraints. The question is not whether small businesses are efficient enough. The question is whether the playing field was ever level to begin with. Behind Temu's storefront is a machine learning system. Trained on billions of data points, it tracks what you browse, what you hesitate on, what you purchase. It predicts what you want before you search for it, but it does something else too. It learns how low a price must go to trigger a purchase. It identifies your threshold, and then it adjusts. This is not pricing based on cost. It is pricing based on behavior. For manufacturers in China, Temu's algorithm functions as a gatekeeper. Products that sell well receive visibility. Products that do not are buried. Suppliers compete by lowering prices, cutting corners, accelerating production. The platform rewards speed and cost reduction above all else. Quality becomes secondary. Durability becomes optional. The incentive is not to build something that lasts, but to build something that ships. This creates a cycle. Consumers are trained to expect lower prices. Suppliers are pressured to meet them. Traditional retailers, caught in between, watch their margins evaporate. And because the algorithm operates at scale across millions of transactions, it can outlast any competitor that relies on human decision-making. Small businesses do not have algorithms. They have owners, employees, and instincts shaped by years in a physical marketplace. They cannot reprice inventory in real time. They cannot predict demand across continents. They operate in a world of tangible constraints. And they are competing against a system designed to ignore those constraints entirely. The impact is not immediate. It is gradual. A small electronics retailer notices fewer customers. A gift shop sees its online orders decline. A clothing boutique struggles to move inventory that sits unsold, while nearly identical items trend on Temu. These businesses do not collapse overnight. They erode. They reduce staff hours. They stop restocking certain products. They close second locations. And eventually, they close entirely. Not because they failed to adapt, but because the economics stopped working. This is happening across categories: home goods, apparel, accessories, toys, hardware. Any product that can be manufactured cheaply and shipped internationally is now subject to the same pressure. The businesses that disappear are often not just retailers. They are employers, community anchors, spaces where commerce happens face to face. Their closure does not only eliminate jobs, it removes the infrastructure of local economies. And what replaces them is not another business. It is an app. An app with no headquarters in your town, no employees you will ever meet, no stake in your community's future. The wealth generated by these transactions does not circulate locally. It does not fund schools through property taxes or support nearby suppliers. It flows outward into platforms and logistics networks that operate at a scale beyond any single region. This is extraction, not exchange, and it is accelerating. Temu is not an anomaly. It is the logical endpoint of trends set in motion decades ago. Globalization promised efficiency. It delivered it. But efficiency, unrestrained, does not distribute benefits evenly. It consolidates them. Digital platforms promised access. They provided it. But access at scale creates monopolies of attention and infrastructure that smaller players cannot match. Deregulation promised competition. It enabled it. But competition between unequal actors is not a market. It is a tilted playing field. Temu did not create these conditions. It exploited them. The question is not whether we can stop Temu. Other platforms will emerge. The model is replicable. The infrastructure exists. The question is whether we are willing to examine the systems that make this model not just possible, but inevitable. Because the alternative is a future where the only businesses that survive are those large enough to operate like Temu, where local commerce is a memory, where price is the only value that matters. We are not there yet, but the direction is clear. In the end, Temu is not the villain of this story. It is a mirror. It reflects an economic system that prioritizes low prices over fair wages, speed over sustainability, scale over community. The small businesses disappearing from main streets around the world are not losing because they are outdated. They are losing because the rules were written for someone else. And until we ask who wrote those rules and why, the decline will continue, one shipment at a time.